All right. You guys join me for once not in my back garden, but rather in my garage. As my YouTube name would suggest, Gary's Garage. It's this. It's a bit of a mess now, but I'm gonna clean it up soon. But first of all, I wanted to show you guys something very important. The project car. As I've told about in so many of my previous videos, it's my dream car. I don't think I ever talked about my dream car, but it's currently sitting right in front of the garage. Here is a little sign of what's to be. It is a complete restoration project. It is not in the best shape, but it is exactly the car that I want. It's exactly the one that I want. It's still exactly the same as I pulled it out of a shed, a barn. It's a genuine barn find. It's exactly the same as I pulled it out of that barn in October last year. So, without further ado, I'll show you the car. I'll tell you a bit of the history of this particular car. And I'll tell you what exactly are the points I like about it. So, here goes nothing. Bam! An Opel Manta B. This is my dream car. Not in this condition exactly, but it is the base of my dream car. It has everything that I wanted to have. I'll start off with some of the more boring facts. The B2. The B1 had only the bottom slits in the grille. B2 had 2 extra ones put on top for improved cooling, of course. Another fact that you can tell that this is a genuine B2, which is B2 is B1 is the pre-facelift, the B2 is the facelift model. It's missing some slats right here. The B1 had extra ones right here, and some people they put on the front of the B2 with the 4 slats in the grille, and then do not cover up these extra slats. But this one is a genuine one, so it doesn't have them. You might think that it's easy to just change around those grills, but no, this is part of the body. The grill assembly is a part of the body. So let's move on. Another thing that I like about it is it's a coupe. It's not the hatchback model. I'm not quite a big fan of the hatchback model. I really prefer the coupe ones. Point number 3, it's white. My dream Manta was always a white GSI. That's another fact. It is just a regular GSI. It's not a 400. It doesn't have the 400 body kit on it, which was a very popular thing to do back in the day. And the third reason that I bought this this particular Manta, it's complete. It still has everything. It's untouched, basically. Nobody started restoring this and lost parts. It's a complete car. I'll get back on the interior in just a second. Because one of the most important reasons that I bought this Manta is that it doesn't have the original 2-liter engine anymore. It has something different. I have to find... This is a very hard grill to open. Very hard bonnet to open. With one hand. There we go. This has the 2.4 injection block from a Opel Omega A or a Vauxhall Carlton Mark. I don't know which mark. The last one, the really square one, that looked like the first, the last Cavalier or the first Vectra. This is a very rare engine. It only came in the Omega A and the Frontera, I believe. But it also came, or well, a spruced up earlier version came in the Opel Manta i240, which was the homologation special from mid to late 80s. It has that engine. This is a very rare engine, and I love that. Normally, originally, this would have come with the 2-liter GSI CIH block, the regular one. But that one blew up, and previous owner changed it. So, let's get into a few of the things that are not original on this car. You can see, of course, bonnet, different color, very rare color. These were mostly, these GSI mostly came in white and red. And the gold color, or that might have been GTE. I don't know if they came over to GSI. Anyway, this color is a very rare color. It's the original black for an Opel Manta. But sadly this bonnet is damaged, so bonnet has to go. As you might have barely seen, the frame on the inside is loose as well, so yeah, I'm gonna keep this bonnet, of course. It's a very rare color, but it has to go. Some other Manta enthusiasts might have noticed that the previous owner painted some things white. This little bottom thing is supposed to be black. The door surrounds are supposed to be black. This part of the mirror is supposed to be black. The door handles are supposed to be black. And this vent thingy is supposed to be black. I believe at least this is also supposed to be black. And I think this upper part as well. Previous owner really liked white, apparently. But yeah, other tuning bits, these ones I'm gonna keep. I'm gonna turn all the white bits back to black. This one I am going to keep, or well, I'm gonna have to do a new one. Windscreen is broken, as you can see, but this is very cool. This is not a sticker. This is sandblasted into the windscreen. The previous owner said that this was very expensive, and he was very sad that that damage happened right there. But luckily, the the doors, the door windows and the rear quarter windows also have some sandblasted things on them, so I am of course keeping that. This also very cool. Mantas never die. They do rust, however. And this, the same one as on the other side. There's also one on this door, but the window is down currently, so yeah. Let's get to the interior, actually. Oh, yes. That's not parts falling off, that's just a door bin just full of crud. Yeah, so a regular Manta GSI interior. The original seats, they are in pretty good condition. I'm happy about that. These really don't tear. I've never seen them tear. They're really durable seats. They're Caros. This. I'm gonna keep this as well, the yellow counters, because, well, it is a part of the history of the car. This was done very much, but in various different colors. We also had ones where it was several colors in the same counter. Only thing is, this middle one is bubbling up a bit, so I'm gonna have to replace that sticker. But yeah, that's not the worst of the work that needs to happen. The steering wheel, the middle part, needs replacing because it's, you might be able to see it, it's curling up from years of sitting. You can actually just pull this thing off and replace it. It's probably still for sale somewhere. I'm gonna look for that. But if I don't find one, there's no problem because, well, it's okay. There's really nothing wrong with it except it being curled up. Maybe I can uncurl it, but I'm gonna see that later on. Genuine leather steering wheel, although the leather is pretty cheap, but genuine leather. So something else that I wanted to talk about is simplicity. People really like simplicity these days in their cars. This is ultimate simplicity. I mean, look at this dashboard. There's nothing that really takes your eyes off the road. A very driver-oriented car. I'm gonna come back on that. But look at this. Vents. Small little vents. A clock. Here's supposed to be the radio. It's gone now. And an ashtray. That's it. Also, some people might think, well, how do you open this glove box? Very easily. There's a button. There you go. It's pretty big, as you can see. Not that that really matters. Nobody is going to daily this. It has what's supposed to be cup holders, but they're not going to hold anything. But it did have them in 1975. Have you ever heard about that? It's... Boah. Now, I want to come back on this being a driver-oriented car. The climate controls, of course the light controls, but the climate controls are on the driver's side. Really just the driver's side. There's nothing here. Everything is controlled in this little bit here. You can control the heat by moving this slider. Then some different things that I don't really know the function of with this one. Fan speed is this button here. You have 1 and 2, that's it. No 3. 1, 2, and that's it. And then on this side, of course, you have light controls. Currently doesn't do anything because there's no battery connected. And then the rear window heat. I think, why are you not focusing? The rear window heat. It's this button here. And then there's only one stalk. As you can see, there's nothing on this side. There's only one stalk that, of course, does your wipers, wash, and indicator. That's it. Really? Oh, no, that's not it. Extra counters. Because sports car. An amp meter, temperature meter, and an oil pressure meter. These light up. I love that. But yeah, as I've just said, these aren't original. This is a piece of wood. It's very well crafted. I might keep it in. I'm not certain on that. The counters will stay, but I might change the back thing. This is also not the key for it. This is the key for the Astra. So, then, it once had an alarm system that luckily was removed because they are a real pain in the ass to deal with. 5-speed gearbox, Katrak 240, which is also, it's not rare, but it is the good gearbox. It's a 5-speed. This is the one that gets swapped into 1.8 S's with 4-speed gearboxes. And, yeah, things like that. But yeah, I've been dangling on about this for way too long. We're gonna move on back to the outside, because I want to get into something, but I'm gonna have to grab my, well, this one, my card for that, or my trolley. If and when you buy a Manta, or any old Opel for that fact, you're gonna have to expect rust. And this is a prime example of where a Manta can rust. So I'm gonna get into that. This has only been welded once, to my knowledge. So it has most of the rust that you're gonna see on a Manta. First, you start at the front, of course. If you have a really used Manta, behind here is the panel that the lights pulled into, behind here. And that can rust out, and then this will start to rust out as well. This little panel behind the lights. That's rather extreme. Because as you can see, this is all open up until the front. Then, moving on. Can I turn on my light? Yes, of course I can. As you might be able to see, behind here, this panel rusts. As you can see, just bits already flopping off of it. Down here, the floor pan rusts where your feet are. The The chassis leg, as you can see, this one is gone. You have to watch out with this one. There is a replacement panel to put over this, but the chassis leg inside will most of the time still be rotten. So we're gonna have to replace that. Buttons of the doors, but yeah, it's really just an 80s thing rather than an Opel thing. Down here, as you can see, the sills are pretty much in need of replacement. I forgot something here. The jack stand also rots out on these, of course. Pretty regular spot for a Manta. My side skirt is cracked. That's sad. I'm gonna have to find a new one of them then. Of course, rear wheel wells. Bottoms of the rear wheel wells tend to rust out. As you can see, wheel arch. Very common problem on any 80s Opel. This bottom section likes to rust out. Problem is, if you have this kind of rust on your Opel Manta or anything else, you'll have to cut it out up until here, and then this kind of line, because this will all be infected. As you can see, this arch is already, but this is severe rust. It will be infected up until about here, a few good centimeters from, as you can see, there's bubbles under it. So if you see this and you think, oh, I'm just gonna put a replacement patch over this, it will rot again, trust me. This is also a bit scabby up there as well. But yeah, the whole bottom of the trunk is completely gone. Needs replacing. That's also a panel that has to go about up to the bumper. And then you have to get the seams right on this side. This is also a very common Manta problem, but this one is pretty severe. Yeah, as you can see, this side is not so bad, but it's also in need of replacing because, well, there's holes under it. As you can see here, there's a hole developing there. The metal is really weak, so that needs replacing. Again, wheel arch. Most 90s Opels, 80s and 90s Opels, 70s Opels probably as well. Inner wheel arch again. Sills, of course. And then we get back up to this side, the front. You can see here more clearly than I was showing you the footwells and the chassis leg. That's pretty much it. That's it on rust. I like to say it's good up until this part. Everything down from there is rust. So, there we go. I'm also gonna have to find a new front bumper. As you can see, as I've just said, this is an intense restoration project. It's gonna take quite a while to get this thing sorted. But now let's get into a bit of the history of this exact Manta. It's a bit vague, but I know some things. First of all, it was bought new in Rotterdam, Holland, in 1986. Then there's little to no history up until 2002, except some service intervals, of course. Little to no history up until 2001 or 2 or 2000 even. I can't quite remember. But then this was bought by the previous owner. So this is a 2-owner car, basically. I am the 3rd owner, which I quite like. And he did all the whitening of the things, and as I've said, the windscreen and the side windows. But he bought this as his daily Manta back in 2000, and it was his daily Manta up until 2011. So basically this car was in daily use from 1986 up until 2011. That did a few that made it rust quite a bit. This dude also had many Mantas. I think he said about 29. Oh! Bastard. It's throwing shit back at me. The trees are fighting me. Anyway. Where was I? This guy had about 29 Mantas in his lifetime. This was his last daily one. He had a few enthusiast Mantas after that, with like the 3-liter engine from the Commodore. But this was his last daily Manta. He welded it back in 2002 or whatever it was when he bought it. Then, in 2008, the engine blew. He was going to use this for parts. He was going to buy a new Manta. But he found an Opel Omega Estate, I think he said, which he was going to use as his daily. But then he went to the inspection with it, and it was so utterly rotten, and this shell was still okay, that he pulled the engine out of the Omega and put it in this. That's why it has the 2.4. I don't believe he knew that it was such a special engine, but that's why it's in here. And then from 2008 up until 2011, I think its inspection ran out on in April 2011. So probably a few months before that, this was parked up and never saw the light of day since then, up until October. What I also find interesting, it went to Slovenia in 2009. So he did quite a bit of enthusiast driving with this one as well. But yeah, it was his daily, and that's why it's so rotten. But it's perfect. Fun fact, he also told me this was, well, of course he was living in countryside like me, and this is turnip damage. That was a turnip flying from the back of a tractor trailer, and it hit it there, and that's why it started to rust here, and the windscreen was damaged. That's turnip damage. Farmer's Ferrari and everything. But yeah, that's I'm gonna start wrapping it up here. I've been yapping on about this for 30 minutes. The next video will be trying to start this thing, because it hasn't ran since 2011. It's might be a problem. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Next video will come very soon. I'm gonna try and get it running right now, actually. I'm gonna try to film it. But I'm gonna try. I know I haven't kept my promises on things really, but I'm gonna try and film the complete restoration of this, so you guys know what it takes to restore a barn find. But anyways, thank you guys very much for watching. Leave a like, leave a comment if you want. And I'll see you guys in the next one.